This is the Frat House Sports Show. And now for this week's completely different and humorous perspective on everything sports, here's Frat House Mike and Sidekick.
Just too funny this evening. Yes, indeed. Our first show of the autumnal season coming at you from right here at the new Frat House Sports Show. And it certainly has been feeling like that around here at the Frat House. Sidekick, a little crisp, a little chilly. We've been through this before, though, haven't we?
Yeah. It's like Groundhog Day.
Opinions about the autumn, though. Any opinions from you on that one?
You know, it's nice to get a break from the warm weather, but I hate the allergies.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you taking any prescription medication?
I'm not a big fan of it all the way around. Listen, bring me back my longer days of the year and my high 80-degree temperatures. I like that a lot. But listen, there are some good things that go along with the fall. How about football? How about the baseball playoffs? How about NASCAR Chase? And my gosh, next week at this time, the NHL will be kicking in, and I know you're going to have a lot to say about that this year.
I will this year.
Overall, not a bad time of the year to be having all this stuff kind of come together. Speaking of NASCAR, let's go over and take a look at this week's Chase race number 2, run last Sunday up at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And, well, it kind of felt like deja vu all over again. For the second week in a row, teammates Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch took 1 and 2 at New Hampshire. Sidekick, this is big. I mean, how big? I mean, that's at least the way it appears to the fans. How big is it for Matt Kenseth to come in there and take the first 2 races of the chase and being the number 1 qualifier going into the chase?
I think you just became my personal hero.
For Matt Kenseth. You know, it's also a huge statement for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah.
Because they've got Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch running 1 and 2 in the first 2 races.
Absolutely.
You know, I venture to say it, this is probably Matt Kenseth's championship to lose.
No, that's a good point. Now, Kyle Busch, though, as you just pointed out, is keeping pace, just 14 points behind the leader. But already, as you just pointed out, Kenseth has a pretty hefty 71-point lead ahead of the 13th place driver in Casey Kane. And we're going to take a quick look at the Chase leaderboard in a moment. But the other day I was referring to this time of year as kind of NASCAR's free agency period, as we've had reports all over the sport this week about moving sponsors and drivers changing teams for next season. But we can't seem to get away from bringing up Jeff Gordon. And I just wanted to get your read on a report that I posted on our Frat House Sports Facebook page on Monday. And that was a report coming from Yahoo indicating that Chase Elliott, the son of Bill Elliott, would take over Jeff Gordon's and Hendrick Motorsports number 24 in 2015 or 16. So we are a couple of years off, from that. Now, albeit I was a bit surprised by the report, as I don't know, I don't see Gordon as being ready to retire next season, even the season after, as was suggested in the Yahoo article. What are your thoughts on this? You had indicated pre-show. Oh yeah, I got some thoughts on that one.
Well, I was going to say, first in pre-show you were talking about news, and I questioned you saying this is news, and then now you're calling it a report, and I still question whether it's a report. Let's get it straight. This is just a blogger's view of what he suspects is going to happen.
Okay.
And, I looked through the article, and he's basically trying to piece together that, it'll be Jeff Gordon's 24th year. He's number 24. He's going to retire. Chase Elliott's being groomed to take his spot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Jeff Gordon's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay.
I mean, we know he's got his issues with his back and stuff, but he's said, he's got plenty of race left in him. I don't see this happening that quick.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
Chase Elliott is in the Hendrick system.
Mm-hmm.
He's racing trucks right now, and he could be groomed to take over for Gordon, but this article, it's fluff.
The article certainly made it sound like as if it was almost a preconceived decision. Did it not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The guy wrote it, Like it was fact.
Like as if it was fact.
Yeah, and it's there was no what's the word I'm looking for?
Credibility.
Right. There's no quotes. There's no resources. There's nothing backing it up.
Attribution to it. Right.
It's merely hearsay on his part.
Mm-hmm.
He's piecing together pieces and saying, well, here's the puzzle. Jeff Gordon's out in 2015. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a good read. It's an interesting take.
It's plausible, and it's plausible.
But the fact that he's trying to write it off like it's
in stone.
It's fact.
Yeah.
Is.
Well, I'm glad Sidekick was here because many of you probably read that post over on our Frat House Sports Facebook page, and probably has a lot of the same kind of questions I did. So there you have it. There's been obviously nothing official, and there wouldn't have been anything official. I would think for a couple of seasons anyhow, even if it were true. But there you have it. I kind of had the same feeling about it, that I didn't see any quit coming up anytime soon in Gordon.
No.
So
now, having said that, though, another good wreck, where he could hurt his back.
Yeah.
You could, but I don't see Gordon hanging it up anytime soon. I mean, look at Mark Martin still racing.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean.
And what's Gordon's age? He's only in his early 40s, isn't he? Yeah. 42, 40, maybe 42, 43, something like that.
Well, he's been racing for
21 years. 21 years this
21
season.
years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. We cleared that one up. Let's go take a look now, real quick, at the Chase leaderboard with Kenseth at the top, as I pointed out, and Kyle Busch just 14 points behind. What else is jumping out at you from this one, Sidekick?
Well, the big thing is, dropped off the island.
Yep.
Is Casey Kane.
Right.
And then we also have Biffle was the biggest mover this week. He moved up six spots.
Right.
Now, while we're talking about Casey Kane, I just wanted to bring up, those that were watching the race. I know we were watching it here, and we saw this the post-crash interview where he kind of seemed a little off, and we were all thought he was possibly concussed.
Right.
And that. But actually, I was reading a report today that, in fact, he was not concussed. He was simply upset at the fact that he thought his chase dreams were over because he wrecked out of that. Because he wrecked out of the race. He would go back into the race, but when he came out of the infield care center, he really didn't want to talk to Dr. Jerry Punch. So that's kind of why gave that kind of
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because we were talking a little bit about this pre-show here. And I was saying to you, I think, well, that's ludicrous that Casey Kane would think that his chase possibilities are over after only 2 races. Mind you, he is in 13th. He's 71 points behind right now, the leader. But you're saying, well, he's got himself a long road to hoe, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's not eliminated by any means. But if you get a DNF in the chase, it doesn't matter.
He did come back out on the track.
He did come back out to get some points, yes. But you get DNF in the chase, and you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
But
71 points is not insurmountable. It's not like we're talking about we're going into race 6.
But when
we're going into race 3.
Right, we're going into race 3. But when you've got Kenseth winning 2 races and Kyle coming in second in both races, it's stacked deck.
Yep.
So I think when we go back and we look at this, his dreams are over now.
This might be the thing we point to and say, well, okay, that was the thing that did him in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, we just said there's 2 races under our belt. We got Chase race number 3. Takes us out to the Monster Mile, just not far from here, down in Dover, Delaware.
Yep.
You can catch the coverage of that on Sunday beginning at 12 noon Eastern Time on ESPN. Now, I got to tell you, Sidekick, I really like the new format NASCAR has put in for their fantasy scheme for the chase. I like it because, as it appears right now, all of our Frat House contestants are truly in the mix to win it. And well, that means it's time for our Sidekicks NASCAR Fantasy Picks, brought to you by our friends down in the Baltimore area at Herb FM Sports Internet Radio. Check them out at www.herbfm.com. What do you got for us?
We're going down to the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. Why they call it a speedway, I don't know.
Yeah, really, that's a good question.
Because it's a 1 mile, 24. It's 24-degree banking. Right. It's hardly a speedway. It's a bowl. Anyway, so we're going to go with our picks for this week.
Go ahead.
Quick and simple. We're going to look at our big jumper from last week, Greg Biffle. He's on the roster for $25. Yes, there's more expensive guys. You've got Kyle Busch. You've got Jimmy Johnson. They're all in the 28-something range, which is, a huge hit to take on your roster. So I decided to, find some lower price guys that still run really well.
Okay.
We're going to also go with the Jeff Gordon, surprise, $25. Carl Edwards, $24.75. Our elder statesman, Mark Martin, $20.75. And my lucky dog, sponsored by Herb FM Sports, goes to Reed Sorensen at $3.25.
Holy smokes. I was going to say that's the only way you could get 4 top guys on that roster would be to go with somebody like that.
Now, just to give you a little bit, the four main guys that I picked, all are at the top of the list of running the fastest laps at Dover.
All right.
So that's the reasoning behind those guys and why they're they're a little less expensive than your Jimmy Johnsons and your Kyle Bushes, and that. So, but they're still going to get you decent points. So.
It's good math there. Good math. All right, there you go. There you have it. Now, hopefully that's going to help out everybody who's in the league as we go forward into chase race number 3.
Yep.
All right, real quick, let's go take a look at the NHRA Drag Racing Countdown Leaderboard as things got really kind of shook up just a little bit this past weekend down in Texas. Now, over in the Top Fuel Dragster division, we're reflecting Doug Coletta at the top. But it's really a dead tie with Sean Langdon, both with 2,251 points. Both of them just 2 points right now ahead of Spencer Massey. So that has gotten quite competitive. In the funny car division, it's still Matt Hagan. Now, just though, 51 points ahead of Cruz Pedregon. Nicely enough, both Robert Height and John Forth hold currently the 3rd and 4th spot right now in the funny car. In Pro Stock, what's this? No Mike Edwards, huh? How'd that happen? In fact, Edwards this past weekend dropped back to 3rd. Jason Line now holds the number 1 spot.
Who?
Just 8 points ahead of Jeg Coughlin. All right. Now, all that sets up for some very competitive racing this weekend out in your hometown, St. Louis, at Gateway Motorsports Park. This will be our 3rd of the NHRA Final Nationals coming up, all right, in the countdown. Just that's the 3rd, so we're halfway through the countdown already in NHRA, all right? All right, let's go take and run around our diamonds in Major League Baseball. We're kind of finishing things up at this point. Just 3 days remaining in the Major League Baseball season. And as you can see right now, National League, there it is. It's set. Those are our postseason contenders, all right? The Braves and the Dodgers both have locked up their divisions. The only thing that's remaining right now are your guys right now. Are they, in fact, going to lock up the Central, or are they going to have themselves a fight with Pittsburgh in the final 3 remaining days? Cincinnati locked in as a wild card team. That's it. That's where that one's going at this point. But we've got the Cardinals. That could be decided as early as tomorrow evening, right?
Yep. The magic number is
right.
The Cardinals play the Cubs at home tomorrow night. They're off today. Or if we see the Bucks lose a game.
Right, exactly. If the Bucks lose, then it's over. All right.
So
there you have it. That's
we'll know
the
by
National
this
League.
Weekend. Probably.
Exactly. There it is. Those are your postseason contenders. In the American League, the division winners are all set. There you have it. There they are. Nothing's going to change along that side. You got the Red Sox, the Tigers, and the Athletics all being your division leaders. It's the wild cards that continue to be, now maybe not quite as interesting.
Well, it's a 3-horse race now.
Yeah, right. Not quite as interesting as it was perhaps maybe about 2 weeks ago. You got the Rays right now, and look at here. We were talking about it. The Indians snuck up into that second wild card spot right now, but don't rule out the Texas Rangers. They're only a game out of the second wild card. Now, by next Thursday, here is where we're going to stand. We will be coming back at you next Thursday. We'll be outlining for you the League Division Series matchups, as the wildcard teams will have already been played, all right, in both the AL and the NL, and that will be determined in that, if you want to call it playoff, their one-game playoff, that'll already have been done. So we'll be lining it up for you as far as what the series are going to look like and who the wild cards are actually going to be playing against the division winners. All righty, how about a little bit of football?
Yes.
There we go.
Let's do football.
And now, 4 minutes of football.
Listen, last Monday night, Peyton Manning threw 3 touchdowns against the Oakland Raiders and set a new NFL record of 12 touchdown passes in the first 3 weeks of the season. Now, if we were to extrapolate those numbers throughout the rest of the season, come on, play with me here for a moment. Manning would end the season with 72 touchdowns, 22 ahead of Tom Brady's 50. He ended the 2007 season with. But that's not going to happen, right? No way, right? That's not going to happen.
Really?
Huh?
We're going to talk?
Huh?
Okay, come on. We're talking about...
Man crush.
We're in the third... Yeah, man crush. We're in the third game of the season, okay? And we're talking about NFL records for the most touchdowns in the first 3 games.
Look, he's been pretty proficient.
And then next week we're going to talk about, the most touchdowns in the first 4 games.
Well, there you go. Why not?
Really?
Why not? Look, he's currently number 1 in yards, number 1 in QB rating, number 1 in...
Fine. Good luck, show boy.
Is anybody going to beat this guy? I don't think so.
Wait. Didn't you post an article about Manning?
Okay.
And about fantasy and Manning?
I posted an article. I posted an article about things you're not supposed to do in sports.
Okay, enough of Manning.
That's what I posted on. All right, listen.
Let's move on.
What a difference a year makes. Currently, right now, we have 7 3-0 teams in the entire league. 4 are in the AFC and 3 are in the NFC. I think you'd have to put the Dolphins, Chiefs, and the Bears probably in the mix for the most surprising, wouldn't you? Huh?
Yeah.
Most surprising of those, all right? As far as 3-0 teams. Last year at this time, we only had 3 3-0 teams. The Texans, who right now are 2-1, Falcons, who are 1-2, and the Cardinals, who are currently 1-2, all right?
But one of these teams that's a 3-0 this year was an 0-3 from last year.
Well, and we're going to talk about that right now because I'm going to flip it. Let's flip it right now and take a look at... We currently right now have 6 0-3 teams, all right? Now, that seems like a lot to me. It seems like a lot to me to have 7 3-0 and 6 0-3s. Surprises here, however, have to be, and we talked a little bit about it last week, the Steelers, the Giants, and the Redskins. All right? Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I guess the Bucs are a little bit of a surprise.
Okay.
The Vikings, not so much. What's actually a surprise is last year we had, when you look at, we had two 0-3s, and then we had 3 3-0s. We had parity last year, it seemed like. And this year, not so much.
Well, good point. That was my next point, and that was we only had 2 0-3 teams last year, and one of them was the Saints, as you just pointed out, currently right now, 3-0. All right. Real quick, last thing. Right on time, right on track. It seems every year at this time we got to have this conversation and debate about adding 2 additional games to the schedule for a total of 18 games. All right. Now, to address the injury concern of further extending the season, one of the suggestions that has been put forth has been that players could only participate in 16 of the 18 games. What are your thoughts on that?
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Crud with 18 games and going to London and cutting out preseason games and adding preseason
They're going to get their way, dude. They're going to get their way. Make no mistake about it. It's going to happen.
No, make no mistake about it. We're not dealing with student athletes. We're talking about professional sports business people with a union. This is never going to happen. Because players are not players anymore. They're not playing for the love of the game. They're playing for the dollar.
I don't know about that.
They're business people.
It keeps coming up. If it was going to get squashed, it would be dead by now. This thing keeps coming up. I frankly think you're going to see some sort of a metamorphosis of this kind of a scheme happening. It's going to happen, my friend.
This only keeps coming up because Goodell's an idiot.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you right now, the one thing I don't want it from a fantasy standpoint. I think it would be a disaster. All right. Here we go. Let's go take a look at our picks of the week, brought to you by our friends Carl and Jim over at CLW83.com. Get over there and check out their podcast programming. And many, many thanks to those guys over there for supporting us here at Frat House Sports. And I got to be honest with you, picks this week, Sidekick, starting to get a little tougher as we go. And we're going to start it off with what I think is kind of might be just one of the toughest. And that's the Seattle Seahawks at the Houston Texans. This is a 1 o'clock game on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern time. The Seahawks more than covered that monster 19 to 20 point spread, beating the Jaguars last week by 28. Now, along the way, Russell Wilson threw for 4 touchdowns, although he did have an interception and a fumble lost. Now, consider as well that the Seattle Seahawks right now currently have the number 1 ranked defense in the league against the Texans, who, in my opinion, really didn't look very good in their 30-9 loss to the Ravens. Matt Schaub had no touchdowns, an interception, which resulted in a Ravens touchdown. Aaron Foster had a paltry 54 yards rushing. But what makes this matchup really intriguing is the fact that the Texans have the number 2 ranked defense in the league. All right? Now, the Seahawks on the road right now are favored by 2.5. Did you have as much difficulty picking this one as I did, Sidekick?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Yeah, right.
Not really.
Where are we going?
Well, last year, it tailed 2 seasons. Last year, the Seahawks were not very good on the road. Mm-hmm. They're always good at home. You got the 12th man. Mm-hmm. This year, though, they're off to a 2-0 start on the road. Mm-hmm. So, I got a friend I used to work with, Mark Feifeld. He's a huge Seahawks fan, and I'm going to go with him in the 12th man. I'm going with the Seahawks to win this one.
No 12th man involved in this one. It's at Houston.
No 12. I know it's at Houston.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to depart. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to take Houston on this one. I think the defense is going to come to play, and I think Houston is going to shut them down. Russell Wilson's been good. No doubt about that. But we've seen signs of him struggle. Look at game 2. All right? Let's see where this one goes. I'm going with the Texans on it.
Well, let's look at
Go ahead.
the record while we differ.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Yeah. All right. You want, okay. And we differ, and you're going to like that. That's good. That's working right into your plan. Go ahead.
Yep. It is, absolutely, because I'm 3-0 on ones we differ.
All right.
So
you hear the boasting? Hear the boasting?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go take a look at game number 2.
Somebody around here gets
Let's go take a look at game number 2, and that's the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. That's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Last week, the 3-0 Bears made us realize why the Steelers are 0-3. Now, Jay Cutler was okay. Matt Forte, well, yeah, he had 111 all-purpose yards. That was very good, particularly for me on my fantasy. But really, it was the 14 points on turnovers from the Bears' defense that made the difference in that particular game. The 2-1 Lions went on the road to Washington. I don't think too many were really thinking that Detroit was going to do this, but they beat the Redskins by 7 points.
I called it.
Now, but if you take a look at the box score, okay?
I got a big ball!
In just about if you take a look at the box score, in just about every single statistical category, the Redskins beat the Lions with the exception of one.
And that was the score.
Where? No. Where?
And that's what matters.
Where did they lose it? They lost it on the quarterback stats. All right? Now, that's not to say that Matt Stafford was lights out, but he's right now currently the 7th ranked quarterback in the NFL. Detroit's defense also has a bit of an edge over the Bears as well. Lions are a 3-point favorite over their longtime traditional rival. Well, are we going to depart here as well?
We may.
Go ahead.
We may. This may be a good week.
I think you.
So Reggie Bush has been injured. Mm-hmm. Calvin and Johnson hasn't been the threat that they have been of years past. Mm-hmm. The Bears are riding high off their new coach, and their defense is kicking some butt without Mr. Urlacher. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Bears.
Wow. Well, this is going to work right into your favor again. I'm going with Detroit. I'm taking Detroit on this one. All right. All right, let's go take a look at game number 3, and that's the New England Patriots at the Atlanta Falcons. This is the 8:30 game on Sunday. What do you say we take the New England Patriots and let's turn them upside down, okay? Currently, Tom Brady right now is the 24th ranked quarterback in the league, and the Pats defense is ranked 8th. What's wrong with this picture, huh?
Go figure.
Like, really. The Patriots beat the hapless Buccaneers last week, 23-3. But I got to be honest, it wasn't a great-looking win. And in fact, the Pats, while they're 0-3, it just doesn't feel like as if the wins have kind of felt tedious, just not the same kind of Patriots precision we've seen in the past. Now, much has been made about the fact that the New England Patriots, they don't have the Brady targets that they have in the past. The Falcons, who we mentioned were 3-0 last year at this time, are currently 1-2 after losing to the surprising Dolphins, which we're going to talk about in a moment, last week, 27-23. Matt Ryan, nonetheless, holding his own. He's 6th in the league. But what happened to the once touted Falcons defense, currently ranked 23? Falcons right now are favored by just 2 at home, and Vegas has the over-under on this one at 50, the second highest on the board. So they're expecting offense. What are you expecting?
Well, Steven Jackson is still out with the thigh issue. Jaquez Rogers is horrible as a running back. So they're relying on Snelling now. Mm-hmm. The question is, can Snelling be their savior for their running game? The other question is, can Matty Ice beat the Patriots in the air if there's no running game? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I'm going to give the edge to the Patriots this week.
We're going to agree. Despite all of the things that I just got done saying about the Patriots, I'm going to pick the Patriots to win this one. All right? All right. Last but not least, here's a fun one for you, and that's the Monday night game. It's the Miami Dolphins at the New Orleans Saints. Both are 3-0 teams, and that is, as I pointed out, that's our Monday night matchup. 8:40 coming at you on Monday. It might just be, to me, it might just be one of the better games, as I pointed out. They're both 3-0 teams. The Dolphins got by the Falcons last weekend by 4 points, as I just pointed out. And I got to ask, is Ryan Tannehill right now the big surprise quarterback of the league?
I don't know if
currently ranked 9th in the league.
I guess he could be up there. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of some of the other rookie quarterbacks.
Can we say underrated? How about underrated?
Yeah, well, I think the Miami Dolphins as a whole are underrated.
Okay, we're going to get into that one. I had a feeling you were going to say that. As I stated earlier, what a difference a year makes for the Saints. They rolled over the Cardinals last weekend, 31-7. Drew Brees, he's got all those receiving weapons available to him, and, my gosh, he used every single one of them in last week's game. Throw into that the Saints right now have the 4th ranked defense in the league. Saints right now are favored by 6.5 points on Monday night. Wow. Big spread for 2 3-0 teams. Where you got that one going?
Well, this is my Bomb Diggity Bomb.
There you go.
Sponsored by CLW83. That's www.clw83.com. This is the battle of the beatens, NFC versus the AFC. Mm-hmm. All right. I also think this could be an upset special. While I realize that the Saints are getting at home 6.5 points, mm-hmm. Miami, as we mentioned, have been underrated.
Yes.
And yet they're 3-0. Mm-hmm. I think any given Sunday kind of deal here, more than say the Eagles upsetting the Broncos. Mm-hmm. I think this could be an upset special here. But I'm still going to go with the points, and I'm going to go with the Saints. But I would not be surprised if the Dolphins walked away from this undefeated.
Wow, I was really kind of thinking you were leading me right to saying, I'm picking Miami.
No, I think the Saints are going to get it, but
you would take Miami on.
I would not.
You would take Miami on the points, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Miami pulled the upset here.
Gotcha. I agree 100% with you. I've been saying it. If you recall, a number of weeks ago, I said back here at preseason, watch the Dolphins. That's exactly what I said, and I'm continuing to say it, but not this week. The Saints come out of this one. I think they actually win it outright. They'll cover the spread on it. But I like your thinking. I really do. I like your thinking on that one. Good job. Real quick, and I'm going to go off. I'm going to go off the script here just a little bit. Rams against. I just want to hear your thinking. Don't go into a long diatribe. Just give me a win or loss. Rams, San Fran this week tonight. Who are you picking? Forget your heart. Forget your heart. Forget your heart.
Oh, see, that's the issue. It's I think Niners are going to win.
Okay.
I goofed.
All right.
But
because I wanted you to know, I'm putting my picks in, and yes, I'm picking the Rams to win that game tonight. So I took a good look at that one, and I'm picking the Rams.
It's really, honestly, San Francisco hasn't played that well.
No, they haven't. I don't think Kaepernick is.
I mean, it's a winnable game. It's a winnable game at home for the Rams. Mm-hmm. I just don't know which Rams team. It's like Eagles of years past.
Yep.
I don't know if the Rams are going to, which Rams are going to show up this week. All right. They're saying that they're reuniting the greatest show on turf.
Okay, you're saying you're rooting obviously for the Rams, but you think it's going to be the 49ers.
I think the 49ers are going to win.
Just for everybody out there, I am picking the Rams. I'm on record. All right, let's go take a look real quick at our Frat House Sports Facebook post of the week. And lo and behold, we've got a milestone here because for the first time ever in our year and a half of bringing these
108 weeks.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or 107, I guess.
And bringing these Frat House Sports Facebook posts of the week, the post that got the most views, activity, comments, and shares was our original posted show from last week. So many, many thanks to all of our Frat House Sports Facebook fans and friends. We keep picking up new ones every single week. We appreciate that. Get over to our Facebook page. Give us a like. And for gosh sakes, if you're sharing that, well, get it up on your own Facebook page and help us get the numbers up on our weekly show. We truly appreciate that.
Or you're tweeting, or your Google Plus.
Google Plus, tweet, Tumblr, all right, wherever you're at.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look real quick, too. There's our Frat House Sports football fantasy. And yes, I dropped off a little bit again. I'm down to number 5. You came up a little bit. Number 9.
I'm tied for the lead in grilling time.
Right, look at there. You got 3 right there in that division at 2 and 1. And
I knocked. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
After I knocked off one undefeated Jim Williams.
Oh yeah, Ian's Iron Eagles.
Yes,
and by the way, Jim Williams, I'm coming for you this week. I'm coming for you.
How'd that happen?
Shut up and start talking.
I planned it. I'm the commissioner. I gotta tell you. All right. One more thing that I'm asking everybody to do. Please make sure you get out and check out our new Frat House Sports webpage. All right. You can get to that frathousesports.net. All right. Make sure you check that one out and check out all of our videos and other content over there. All right. All right. Hey, pretty good. We didn't do too badly tonight with all the issues we had on the front end.
If you wrap this up, we'll get it in under 35 minutes.
Okay, I guess. All right. Look who's pushing me along this time. All right, one more thing. You know what it is. Yeah, thanks for the clock. Keep us real, keep us live, keep us going. We'll see you next week. Check you then.
And then Jerry starts asking him questions, and he was not in the mood to be asked questions.
Okay, well, you know something? I'd like you to bring that one up real quick because there's a question I would throw out. I would not say his chase dreams are over. Would you?
Joe, absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely.
He's 71 points out. There's 8 races left.
And Matt Kenseth has won 2 races.
Yeah, okay, we're going to get into that too. We're going to get into that too.
I think Casey's done.
This is pretty much a 2-man race at this moment.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine. Good luck, showboy.
Kyle in.
Well, I thought that's who you were throwing in there. Who's the second? Jimmy Johnson?
Johnson's still second in points, ain't he?
No, Kyle is 14 points out.
All right. Well, all right.
They were both 1 and 2 2 weeks in a row.
Carl Edwards has a pretty good, almost 20.
I think Kyle's the guy to beat.
Kenseth is till somebody beats him.
Well, yeah, right. Kenseth isn't going to win 10 races in a row. Okay, he's going to lose now.
Now.
Okay, like for the next 8.
No, he's good at Dover. No, I know he is.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, seriously, come on. We've been through too many of these chases right here on this show. We know what this is like. It goes up and down.
No, it does.
And that's why I'm surprised you would even say that Casey Kane would be out of it. I don't view that as out of it. We're only 2 races in.
Yeah, but he's not going to. He's dug himself a really big hole to get out of.
All right.